Okay, I was asked to talk a bit about what I thought about the movie Citizen Jake in relation to the situation in our country right now and about my motivations for doing this film. I'd also like to speak about my character, Senator Herrera, and how he might fit into our understanding of things. It is arguable that at the root of our crisis as a nation today are the erosion of memory and the revision of history. Citizen Jake offers a powerful antidote to that. The film captures the complex ambiguities between truth and fiction, between the entangled loyalties we owe to both family and nation, forcing us to confront painful but necessary questions about who and what we are as Filipinos. Citizen Jake is important because people forget. Okay? This is a reminder to those who have survived martial law and a wake-up call to those who have not experienced it and dismiss the historical significance of the experience. Martial law is back, literally in Mindanao and de facto everywhere else. The difference between then and now is the slyness of it all. Authoritarian rule is already here without the benefit of a Proclamation 1081. We all know that nothing is done unless approved by the gang leader. That what the dictator wants, the dictator gets. That's why it was interesting for me as an actor to play a character like Jacobo Herrera, to try and get into the psychology of a strong man. I was bothered by one question at an earlier screening. I was asked, how did you prepare for the character? How could you stomach the evil? I was disturbed because I don't think it's a question of stomaching evil at all. No? The character, Jacobo, holds on to core values that are by themselves are really good values, like family and loyalty. But to me, Jacobo is just a representation of an unseen evil when he uses normally good values to achieve evil ends. In order to do that, however, one must construct a convoluted narrative about oneself and one's motivations. One always has to be the hero in one's own life story. Nobody wants to be the bad guy. When you start believing your own lies, that's where the evil comes. And that's the hardest person to convince that he is wrong, because he has created a narrative about himself that he has to believe in order to survive. So, a strong man has to believe that what he is doing is for the good of the country. The sad fact about our country that this predilection for strongman rule reveals is our political immaturity. Strongman rule demands an infantilized public, one that looks up to an authoritarian figure to instill discipline through fear and the threat of violence. Dissent, which is a cornerstone of a democratic society, is not welcome in such a setup and is seen as nanggugulo, or disobedience, a lack of filial piety. Add to this the fact that we have a very macho patriarchal society that celebrates almost caveman-like logic and behavior. It is no accident that this regime punishes and fears strong, intelligent women, because they are the polar opposite of this caveman mentality. I did this film precisely because it was political. I'm sick and tired of people who claim to be apolitical. As I said before, it's time to choose sides. There's no gray area here. It's either good or bad. Now, you don't have to take to the streets every day, although that may be a good idea. But you have to use what you are good at and use it to fight and to resist. Use your competence. No? If you're a teacher, educate. If you're a writer, write. If you're a reporter, report what needs to be reported. rather than propagating bongo selfies. Please stop being fence sitters and use your skills. I am happy that more and more artists are coming out with plays and films like this. I think it is imperative that artists continue to do this. I started this year doing RD3RD. It's a play that creates a direct parallel between the rise of tyranny in the past with our own situation today. By the way, if you haven't seen this, we have a limited run sa Ateneo this week from Wednesday to Friday. Please try to catch it. RD3RD, Richard III. I just closed the Kundiman Party. It's a play about the role of art in the resistance of tyranny. Now, this film, Citizen Jake, is also a powerful questioning of how we all become so co-opted in the rise of dictatorships. And I will continue to be political in my work. Yes, it may be dangerous to be outspoken, but it is even more dangerous to stay quiet. Choose a side, people. Stop being fence sitters. Stop being apathetic just because your lives are not affected, because, believe me, they are being affected. It is creeping up on us. Economic collapse, authoritarian rule, the loss of our national patrimony. Silence will only aid and abet these horrible events from coming to fruition. Thank you.